What's going on, everyone? It's Casey. I have my Jeep right here behind me, and I just wanted to make a video because it's been about a year since I painted my underbody with chassis saver, and I have a lot of people always asking me how it looks, so I figured I'd make a video. I wanted to make a video especially because I'm about to go under it and fix a little few places that rust broke through. So I'll just do a quick video of it now, see how it looks, and then I'll also show how I'm just going to go over it and what I'm going to use to protect it from here. Alright, so I'm just about to go underneath the car, the Jeep. The reality of it is, it's almost impossible to, not rust when you have so much rust already, which, I don't know if I have yet, but if I have edited in the before and after pictures, you'll see how bad it was. So, it almost looks perfect from here, honestly. But close up, you'll see there are a lot of places where rust kind of broke through a little bit, but, it is 100 times better than it would have been by now. This is the first year that it is the middle of December and it's 60 degrees out right now. So getting a little lucky with it this year. Hopefully it stays like this, which kind of hearing that it's not going to stay like this, but we'll see. So we'll start from the left side. I'm on my creeper, so I apologize for any weird filming. You'll see it shows it really well because this part is in the sun and this part isn't, so it fades really easily, this stuff. It's not UV protecting at all, but it doesn't have to be because it's for your underbody. So you'll see it almost looks like it's bubbling underneath. That's just what it covered. The rust isn't per se growing. You'll see a few places it kind of just came through. The light makes it definitely look worse. In natural lighting it looks fairly better than this, but yeah, see, I don't know why that looks wet. Definitely not wet. Kind of see. Let me try and get a better view of that. Everything looks pretty good. Really solid compared to what it was. And we'll just go down. Everything from the diff, the axle, just everything looks so much better than it would have. It was definitely a really tedious project, but I'm really happy I ended up doing it. For a peace of mind, at least. Yeah, so you kind of see like a chalkiness. That's just the purple power that I used. I guess I didn't rinse it all off. But I'll have to do that before I put any more on. Some places like this, you'll see, I don't know why it looks so bad on the camera, but it doesn't look that bad in person. Kind of looks like it's flaking a lot. Still really solid. It's definitely wet there. Everything still looks really good. So I also did everything from kind of the transfer case back. I didn't really do under the engine because it's too hard to get to. You'll see it looks really weird. This chalkiness, that's just from the purple power. But I wanted to make the video before it got too dark out, so I kind of rushed into it. I didn't really get rid of all the residue, but yeah, you'll see it just trying to get it to focus right now. It still looks kind of like the day I put it on, just with a little bit, fading and whatever naturally would happen over a course of a year to a car's underbody. And it's really awkward to film under here because it's under a car. And that's the same thing. Probably have no idea where I even am right now under the Jeep. Yeah, okay, I'll try and do this. Nope, that doesn't work either. Alright, whatever. So yeah, you'll see I did all these, parts of the unibody. They still look really good. One thing you'll notice is, it's full of holes, and there's rust in them. So, nothing you could do about that, really. It's gross. I hate rust. I did this on both sides, and still really impressed with it. It just looks so, I wish I cleaned it. It looks so gross. I did clean it, but I wish I cleaned it better. Oh well, I'll get a better view of it tomorrow when I do that fluid film video. It's a penetrating oil, so it should easily get rid of all this stuff. It goes over in the directions that it's really important to seal off any rust, and you can't really seal it when it's in there. I know there's a few companies that make like expandable foam that goes in there, but I haven't really investigated them too much. Get the back of the diff here. That's where my sway bar was. It's rusting just a little bit, but like I said, most of that crap is residue. One place that did rust kind of bad through it was the gas tank skid. It's just gross beforehand, and I knew it wasn't gonna be perfect. But honestly, from this point, it still looks amazing, and it held up so much better than, you know, the Rust-Oleum stuff that I used initially. So I don't really think you can go wrong with this. I don't really remember how much a quart was, but it wasn't over 50 bucks. And 1 quart easily does an underbody, especially for these vehicles. Alright, here are all the things I recommend having while doing this project. Starting off from the left, paper towels. You're gonna need them because you're painting, and you just will. And then these kind of two go together. That's chassis saver in there. I just went to Home Depot when I got it, and I got an empty paint can, I guess you could say. And I did that because you're never supposed to paint out of the original container. You're supposed to pour how much you think you're going to use in a separate container, and then use this to always seal the lid. You never can. It literally bonds metal to metal, so if you try and just put that down and, you know, call it a day, a month or so later when you want to use the rest of your chassis saver, it's going to be sealed shut, and then you're going to have to, like, I don't know, drill it open. It's going to be a hassle. This is their reducer. There's another solvent that is basically the same thing you can get at the hardware store. I'll put the name of it in the video. I just can't remember it right now. Starts with an X. Paintbrush that you'll never care about again. Something to mix it, and a cup for possibly putting paint in there. I don't know, whatever you want to do with it. Just makes it easier. I want to hold that and then paint under there rather than, you know, have to use that. In most cases, I would say that you're going to need an undercoating gun, because I would not recommend using a paintbrush to try and do the entire underbody. But in my case, I'm just doing a touch-up, so I am going to use a paintbrush and call it a day. One thing to note, when storing chassis saver, like I said, when you first get it and you first open it, you want to immediately put however much you want to use in a separate container, seal shut the other container, the original container, and then you know, don't open that until you need it again next, because this stuff, it reacts with humidity, I guess, and it hardens. So, you know, you're gonna end up wasting a lot of it if you do it that way. This chassis saver is actually about a month old. I'm surprised it's not hardened. I've had it harden on me before, and it turns to like Jello. So I'm just mixing it right now. And when you store it, it's a good idea to put a bit of the reducer on top of it, and it's called something that it said in the directions that I don't remember, but it apparently makes a film over the top that stops it from reacting with, you know, kind of like seals it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know what I'm trying to say, so I'm sure you get it. With this stuff, they always recommend doling any shiny surfaces. I am not going to be doing any sanding because this was meant to be a quick job, and that's all it's going to be, because I don't feel like doing that much work to it. I already spent hours and hours on doing this, so I'm just going to find rust spots like this, and I'm going to go over them. Plain and simple. So yeah, just going to start, you know, going over the spots that I see rust breaking through a little bit, and then I'll seal it tomorrow, which I'll make another video about, with fluid film, which is basically a penetrating lubricant that turns into like a waxy film. It's like a once-a-year application, so I'm hoping with the combination of these two, I'll never have to worry about this for another 5 years or whatever. So that's what it applies on. Like, I'm gonna let it cure for however long it says to cure. I think it's like a day, honestly, or like just under 24 hours. And then I'll get back with it. Alright, so I'm underneath the Jeep again. It's a day later. And again, it's like 60 degrees out, which is pretty cool. I said I was going to touch up a few places of the chassis saver, and I ended up using the rest of what I had in that can. So I did a lot more than I thought I would, but it came out really nice. So yeah, all that's looking real nice again. I didn't do the diff because I didn't want to ruin the paint on the diff cover. Just get out of the car now. This spot was really bad yesterday. Yeah, so everything looks a lot better. I didn't think I was going to do this much. It only took me about 2 hours, but I had a lot extra and I didn't really want to waste it, so I just kind of did a lot of extra work on it. Got a little bit of chassis saver on the red there, but I'll get that off. I didn't do this part of the diff, like I said, but I did do behind the diff and the sides of it, under it. This support was really bad too. This was really rusty. So I ended up going over it completely. Just with a paintbrush. The one I showed. All this red's gonna go away when I paint my Jeep this spring anyway. I didn't want to ruin it for now. I did the shock skid and mount, track bar mount. I didn't really do anything past down there, but it's just because it wasn't too bad. I did a few of the places where it was a little rusty, but I didn't really do anything back there. In the end, I'd say this stuff works pretty well. I know it didn't hold up perfectly, but I used this Rust-Oleum stuff before and it didn't last more than a year, so I mean it was completely gone after a year, and this stuff held up pretty well after a year. Especially if I keep touching it up like this, I'm not going to have any problems. Nothing really to worry about anyway, so